So we've got all this case law. We've got these cases that happen, different situations in courts, were brought to court, these disputes were brought to court, and then you have all these cases that happened and that were presented to the court, and so you can look up these stories of what happened to other people, and that happens in both the state courts and the federal court, and all these reported decisions are reviewed by the court, and then see the court applies the statutes or the regulations or the constitutional provisions to the particular sets of facts in those cases. Then they come up with the law of the case, and so each of these cases are precedent for how the courts can later rule, because they want to make the rule and then stay by the same rule. So very rarely is the case law overturned. So you've got cases that happened way back in the common law, way back hundreds of years ago, before the United States was even a country. You had the English common law, and all that common law was created over centuries as the different changes in politics happened, as the different changes in commerce happened, as the different changes in the technical world happened, and so they set down all of this precedent, and that's called the common law. So when the colonies came over here, they used the English common law, and then when the courts were established, they used that same common law, and so that common law that applied to everybody, and so it was shipped out of Europe and it came over here. Of course, the people that were already here, they didn't have the advantage of the common law. They didn't have the advantage of all the developments that happened in the business world. They didn't have all the advantages of the societies that were created, and they didn't have all the associations that were created. They didn't have the complex society. They were living totally different, and to this day, a lot of them have not wanted to learn all of that. But in order to prosper in our modern world, you either have to grow your own food and have your own land and do everything yourself, or you have to meld into the organization, the complex economic environment that we have that is taking over. Well, is it taking over in a good way? Not always. It doesn't always look that way, but with as far as the American legal system, it's trying to be as fair as it can. There are people that are manipulating the law, but the American system is pretty fair. And so what we've taken away from this is what case law is and what the common law is. And so, make it short, case law is the established law of many situations of fact patterns of disputes that happened before the court, that are all recorded and that are written down so that people can look at them and argue that their case is or isn't like something that happened before in the law. And then this common law is an entire huge body of case law and unwritten law that was not that the courts really made. A lot of the laws back then, not so much the legislatures, but all that common law was shipped into America, and that has great significance to how our law works, and not only how it works, a lot of that's still precedent at the ground level of what we take for granted here in the American legal system.